We're very glad you could join us. It's midday from Channels Television's global headquarters in Lagos. Welcome to Lunchtime Politics. I am Bukola Koka. The highlights. Governor Fubara's 200 billion naira supplementary budget scales first reading at the Rivers State Assembly. INEC is set to close its defense on LP case against APC presidential candidates President Bola Tinubu after proceedings were stalled on Monday due to absence of a witness. Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board Jamb maintains its initial position, says Anambra student Ejikeme Joy manipulated her UTME score. Indeed, we're glad you could join us. We begin from the Presidential Election Petition Court, where INEC has closed its case against the Labour Party as the All Progressives Congress and President Bola Tinubu are set to open their cases tomorrow. Recall that yesterday, INEC closed its defense in the petition of the People's Democratic Party after calling one witness at the Presidential Election Petition Court. The court resumed sitting in the nation's capital yesterday for respondents, INEC, APC and President Bola Tinubu to open their defense in the petitions of the PDP and LP who are challenging the outcome of the election. And the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, is meeting with all the resident electoral commissioners of the commission at the headquarters in Abuja. The meeting is the first of such open for coverage since the 2023 general elections were concluded. On the agenda, the meeting is expected to review the February general elections and also to discuss preparations for the off-season governorship elections in Kogi and Imo in November this year. And away from electoral matters now, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, Jamb, has withdrawn Mmesoma Ejikeme's 2023 UTME result and also barred her from sitting for the board's examination for the next 3 years. The Jamb management is affirming its earlier position that the UTME result being paraded by Mmesoma is patently fake. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, Jamb spokesperson, Mr. Fabian Benjamin, on our breakfast program, Sunrise Daily, earlier today, explains that the 16-year-old has since printed her real result from the website and wondered why she has kept quiet about this latest development.
But one thing I want you Nigerians to note is that among all the 1.6 million candidates, how come it's only Mmesoma that is having this result? Go on the street and ask any candidate.
She's the only one.
She's the only person. Nobody.
What about the person that Jamb says in Kaduna?
Even that person was even smarter than her because the person didn't print this. The person attempted to print this. The person was smarter than her because the person knew that this is the result that we're using for 2023. She's the only person parading this particular result sheet. Go on the street. I challenge anybody, ask candidate that have sat for 2023 UTME, whether anybody has printed this kind of result. This is what we use in 2021, and we never use it again. From 2022, this is the system. Results label is what we have been producing because it comes with a picture. Mmesoma is the only candidate that is paraded in. And not look at the date of birth. But how come she's having two different dates of birth and two different results?
So why then did she say that she printed the result from Jamb portal and that Jamb is just trying to harass her and her family? And then after the results were released over 2 months ago, why is it taking Jamb this long to say that to say what you're saying now? And she went into say using the QR code is indicating another name. She cannot do what you accuse her of doing. She's a brilliant girl.
It'll be very interesting. So we have the video here.
Well, I can decide to define myself in whatever form I want to say I'm brilliant, I don't have capacity to do that and all those things. Because if you have the ability to detect who has capacity to commit crime, then our problem would have been solved. You go on the street and begin to arrest them. But what I'm trying to tell you is that this result is not our result. Look at let me show you. If you look at this notification slip, this is her notification slip that she printed for examination. Before you approach the center for it, you must print this. Look at the venue of the examination center, and look at the center on this result. Look at the way it is written. We don't write this sort of thing. If you go on the street and you ask any candidate that sat examination in this center, you will see that this is not the name of the center.
What is the way forward now? Because people are asking that DSS investigates this.
We are open. As I was coming, funny enough, as I was coming here, somebody even called me. The candidate is parading another result that he scored 400 over 400. You can see that they're making just of the whole thing. Having this slip and mutilating it and all this thing.
So what is the way forward?
We are open. In fact, we heard that the governor is considering a committee of inquiry into this matter. We are interested. I've sent a message to the Commissioner of Education that please invite us. We will come with all the facts. And we want to appeal to Airtel to also appear, because Airtel has all the communication, the interaction between this candidate and Jamb on the phone. And if the candidate will be sincere to bring her phone, you can see those transactions. Dates are there. If you had gone further, you will see that yesterday she also printed the result.
So where would she have gotten this result
yesterday?
Where could this have emanated from?
She just got it on the street and mutilated those things. It's not taking her anywhere. Even if you go to the school where she chose, that result is not there. But what we are doing is just to protect the interests of the public out there. Otherwise, on our system, there is nothing like that showing there. Nobody has compromised our system. Our system is intact. We have no any fear or any doubt. We are not perturbed about whatever is all this. But people that are out there, so that they won't be deceived, they won't be defrauded.
This is Channels Television's breaking news.
News just in. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has announced principal officers of the 10th Senate. Senator Akpabio made the announcement of the chamber at the resumption of legislative proceedings just minutes ago. The officers are Senator Opeyemi Bamidele from Ekiti as Senate Leader, Senator Dave Umahi from Ebonyi as Deputy Senate Leader, Senator Ali Ondume from Borno State as Chief Whip, and Senator Lola Shiru from Kwara State as Deputy Chief Whip. That's according to Senator Akpabio. The officers emerged by consensus. Again, the principal officers newly announced are Senator Opeyemi Bamidele from Ekiti as Senate Leader, Senator Dave Umahi from Ebonyi State as Deputy Senate Leader, Senator Ali Ondume from Borno State as Chief Whip, and Senator Lola Shiru from Kwara State as Deputy Chief Whip. And the officers emerged by consensus, according to the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio. To security matters now, President Bola Tinubu received former governor of Zamfara State and Senator Ahmed Yerima at the State House. Speaking with journalists after the meeting, Senator Yerima suggested that the President, Bola Tinubu, should first engage the use of dialogue with bandits rather than military force as the best way to address the insecurity challenge in the country and to resolve insurgency. Senator Yerima is optimistic that if the federal government wades in, negotiation with the bandits will record advanced progress, as was the case with the Niger Delta militants.
We should start discussing with them is to avoid the collateral damages that may come up if intensive and extensive military operations are directed. But that should be the last option. And I'm not saying that the government should just continue to just negotiate indefinitely. No, I said invite them. There are people who repent. And if you recall, Mr. President Umar Musa Adua had similar interaction with the militants in Niger Delta, and it was successful.
And a scholar on violent extremism, Mr. Bulama Bukati, has condemned the bandit negotiation proposal brought forward by the former governor of Zamfara State. Mr. Bulama warned the federal government to be tactful in dialogues with these non-state actors. He urges the military to protect the Nigerian territory with its continuous offensive against bandits in order to open the doors for amnesty after wide consultation. Mr. Bulama was a guest on our political program, Politics Today.
Dialogue or negotiation implies sitting, around the table and conversing with the bandits or the terrorists and giving them something in order to get something from them. It's like a compromise, and that's not how to deal with them. The way to deal with them is to start with the stick, because Yarima suggests that we start with the carrot, give them an opportunity to defect or to repent. If they don't, then go all in with the military effort. We have tried that before. It did not work. What you need to do is to go hard on the military side of things, and then after you have used enough military power on them, you may then open the door, not for negotiation, but for amnesty, because you don't negotiate with terrorists, you don't negotiate with criminals. What you do is to allow those of them who want to repent to lay off their arms and turn themselves into authorities. And then you profile them, and you consult community members, you consult experts, you consult our security agencies, and then you now decide whether to prosecute them or to follow the procedure laid down by experts to demobilize them properly, rehabilitate them, and then reintegrate them back to communities. That's the process. It is not about negotiation. It is not about dialogue. It is a question of using military force against them for them to know that Nigeria has the might to crush them, and then you allow them to defect and repent and turn themselves into authorities if they want to.
Just now to expand this conversation further on Senator Yarima's suggestion that the federal government should negotiate with bandits is a former director in the Department of State Service, Mr. Mike Ejiofor. Mr. Ejiofor, thank you very much for joining us on Lunchtime Politics.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, let's start this way by taking a critical look at Senator Yarima's call. He's just one of many callers at the villa, who have emerged to make one form of advocacy or the other. For him, he wants the federal government to negotiate with bandits. What's the real reason for this position?
Honestly, I don't know his reason. And Senator Yarima is somebody I know very well. I don't know how it came about this thought. It's quite unfortunate because comparing, I completely agree with Mr. Bulama. If you begin to say you want to negotiate with bandits, first of all, we should be able to distinguish between banditry and agitation. The bandits, who are their leaders? What do they want? How do they intend to achieve it? So you cannot compare with Niger Delta that had leaders. They had known leaders. They are agitating for resource control, backed by political leaders. So these are issues that we have to be doing. I don't see any reason why people who have subjected us to torture, killing of innocents, destruction of property, they will now start negotiating with them. What are we negotiating? What do they want? How do they intend to achieve it? And what is government position? What are they going to offer? So I'm at a loss to that kind of suggestion.
The senator proceeded as other callers by lauding the administration for its policies. Could he be lobbying for something?
I wouldn't know. I don't understand whether it's lobbying for anything. But for me, it doesn't make any sense negotiating with bandits that have not come to table their demands or have our known leaders. Look at the train incident. The economy is grounded to a halt because of this, the activities of these bandits, and we're negotiating with them. What are we negotiating with them? The military offensive is what should be embarked upon. I agree that there are issues that are political that should be negotiated, like agitation for Biafra, Republic of Oduduwa, and there are issues, political issues can be negotiated. But banditry, no. I don't know whether he has any reason for saying that.
Now, when answering questions from newsmen, he was presented with the past negotiations of governors, which had not resulted in anything meaningful. In fact, the state governors were presented with a greater challenge of insecurity. But he says that the federal government's negotiation with the bandits is on a larger scale, is beyond the capacity of the state governors. Do you agree with his position? What's the logic behind this?
I don't. I don't at all, because you see, you don't put something on nothing. What are we negotiating? What are their demands from government? And what is the government going to offer? You remember when El-Rufai of Kaduna State tried to placate them. Did he achieve any result? So if that one didn't work, how would the federal government embark on this kind of demand? I don't see any reason there at all.
Now, the federal government has also prevailed on him to use his position, as an elder statesman in Zamfara politics to help to bring about peace. Is it an acknowledgement of what he's able to use his person to do in that state and in the entire Northwest region?
Incidentally, Zamfara used to be one of the most peaceful states as far back as I recall when I was director there in 2006. But how Zamfara degenerated to all this plan is something one can not fathom. Possibly because of this exploitation of gold and the people coming to. These are criminalities as criminals. Yes, he's a statesman, he's another statesman. When he was the governor, I'm sure there was this kind of problem in Zamfara state. We had these issues of banditry, and not banditry, occasional issues of robbery and this thing. So we don't understand. So I don't understand how is going to use this position to advise this. It's quite disturbing. That suggestion is quite disturbing.
Now, just one more before we'll let you go, Mr. Ejiofor. Some had identified the lull in the spate of attacks of the insurgents and bandits as being political in the first place, and that, perhaps they were waiting for the direction of the new administration or the emergence of the new administration in the first place before launching a major attack. Do you see the logic of, politics behind the participation of the insurgents in the destruction of major government facility as being political and perhaps having political undertones, and supporting the view that there are major political actors who are involved sponsoring insurgency in the country?
That I cannot establish, but I've told you that when we have political problems, we should have political solutions. As far as I'm concerned, this issue of banditry, we now have new service chiefs that will come up with new strategies, new techniques. We can't continue to do the same thing the same way and expect different results. So I believe that they have a different approach. Luckily, they also had a meeting. The service chiefs had a meeting yesterday with the president and commander-in-chief. So I'm sure they are working on strategies on how to solve this first problem that has lasted years with us.
Indeed, that's the expectation. Mr. Mike Ejiofor is a former director in the Department of State Service. We thank you very much for your time and contribution on Lunchtime Politics.
Thank you very much.
More on security now, as security matters get a major focus, with the president asking the new service chiefs to work as a team, saying that there is work to be done. President Bola Tinubu made the remark when he met with the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, and the service chiefs at the presidential villa on Monday. It is the president's first formal engagement with the NSA, service chiefs, and the IGP since their appointment on June the 19th, 2023. Our State House correspondent, Gloria Umezuki, reports.
Well, we are here to thank Mr. President for the opportunity he gave us to serve our country and to serve his own government. We thank him very much. We also pledge our loyalty to him and to Nigeria and Nigerians. We believe that the choice he made is the right one, the correct one. We know what he wants for this country. We are going to work tirelessly to ensure that we accomplish that objective of securing our country establishing peace, stability, and let's get our lives back. He gave us the assurance that he is with us 100%. He told us that we must work as a team, and there is a work to be done. He will expect us to deliver. And you can see already things are improving in our country. If you see the record of crimes and activities of the criminals, it's going down. It will continue to go down. We will secure this place. Nigerians have seen the quality of people that are given opportunity. They are probably some of the best we have, and they are not going to fail.
There's more on the work that needs to be done in order for us to have stability. But still to come on Lunchtime Politics, Rivers State House of Assembly passes into second reading a supplementary budget of 200 billion naira. That will be after the break. Join us again. Welcome back. It's still Lunchtime Politics on Channels Television, and we're now headed for that task before the service chiefs following that second or one in a series of meetings, rather, that the president has had with them yesterday. Joining us to discuss this is Mr. Alfred Ononugbo. He's a security consultant. Mr. Alfred, thank you for joining us on Lunchtime Politics.
Thank you very much for having me.
Let's start by recalling that long line of meetings that the president has been having. First with the former service chiefs, where he charged them on working together, synergy. And then that meeting that he had also during the visit to the Office of the National Security Advisor, he also charged them on information sharing. And yet again, he's also calling for synergy. So it will seem as if the president is, in other words, telling them to learn from the mistakes of the past. So what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think it's clear that a house divided against itself can never stand. And we are a nation of great potentials in terms of our human capital assets. We have people who are making marks across the world. So it's a shock. When you come inside, you find that we are not coordinated, we are unable to harness this, great potential of ours and deploy them to achieve our desired or expected goals. So I see the union, the unity, the bonding between the agencies as critical. It will bring them to that sense of duty and give them a focus. It will allow them to watch one another's back and be able to tell themselves the truth and allow their dreams of achieving a safe Nigeria to become a reality. Now, without that peace, without that unity,
Mr.
without that...
Let's manage our time. Do you think, security experts and analysts are taking for granted that Mr. Nuhu Ribadu, as the National Security Advisor, would have a smooth sail with these security chiefs, knowing full well that in the past, that office had traditionally gone to a former military officer?
Well, nothing says that that office should be occupied by a military officer. In some countries, civilians are occupying the office of the National Security Advisor. So Nuhu Ribadu is a known person. He's known in the establishment. He's known internationally. He commands the respect of an average Nigerian, of which the service chiefs are Nigerians. So I do not see the appointment of Nuhu Ribadu as a threat to their interest or their position in any way. Rather, I see Nuhu Ribadu as a neutral person and as a good driver for whatever they intend to achieve for the security establishment and then entrenching sanity and security in the country. So Nuhu's appointment rather comes as an incentive to the agencies. Now, none of the agencies will be blamed directly for certain things. A lot is expected of Nuhu, considering his experiences and his credentials. So all the agencies will be glad to flow with him. So I do not think it's about a military officer or policeman, but I think it's about the person that is assigned to do that job.
We have more questions on the task ahead and how, that synergy can be achieved, but we must drop the anchor on the discussion. And thank you very much for your time and contribution. Mr. Alfred Ononubu is a security consultant. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Moving ahead, the Rivers State House of Assembly has passed into second reading a supplementary budget of 200 billion naira. This also comes as the House refutes allegations about lack of transparency on the part of the state government. The House Majority Leader, Edison Ehie, described the allegation as untrue, noting that the state's finances are in the public domain for all to access.
The procedure for a bill is first reading, which happened last week, and today we have just finished the second reading of the bill in line with the parliamentary constitutional standing. And of course, today was to discuss on the merits and general principles of the bill. And the bill before us is the Rivers State Supplementary Appropriation Bill, which proposes to alter the Appropriation Law 223 by injecting a single item, which is the Port Harcourt Ring Road. Though single, but it has multifaceted arms, which touches on virtually all sectors and all departments, all agencies, from the education sector to the health to works. Because on the health issue, the bill, when passed into law, that project will affect the emergency relief sector. Like now we are doing operation budget, people are not here, they are not coming, they already have a mindset that this thing is not transparent. But you can see that between the public glare, see how the gallery was filled to the brim. People are interested, people are happy. But when this budget is passed, you will see people who didn't participate because they want to play blind opposition, they begin to criticize.
And you have been served on today's edition of Lunchtime Politics. Join us again tomorrow for another package. I am Bukola Koka. Bye for now.